Hello and welcome to Knitcraft Podcast. Today we are going to talk all about the progress I have made on my webs. Hello and welcome to Knitcraft Podcast. My name is Courtney and I live in a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona with my 3 children and my husband. And this week we're just going to talk about my progress on my webs, and honestly I don't have much to show, so it's going to be a quick episode. If you celebrate, today is Christmas. By the time you will see this, it is no longer Christmas. But if you celebrate it, I hope you had a great holiday. And let's just jump right in. A quick little update, and then I don't know where I was going with that. Okay. I grabbed the wrong project back. I'm like, that's not what's supposed to be in here. Okay, let's try this again. I made sure I grabbed the right one this time. I knitted a decent amount on I have hair on, I think, both arms, and there's one of them. So, I knitted a lot on my test knit by Alicia, Plummer, and here it is. I have finished the body, and I have just picked up for one of the sleeves. I don't think I knitted very much, but there it is. And it's so pretty. Oop. And feels really nice, and I've tried it on. I like how it feels, how it fits, and how it feels. This yarn is just, I love this yarn for a more budget-friendly yarn. This is really nice. And when I'm too lazy to pull out my Swift, my winder's kind of always out, but my Swift I have to pull out, and I have to put it away right away because of Lily. I just put this yarn around my legs and wind it by hand because it's 220 yards of air and weight. It goes really fast. And I am using Cascade 220 Superwash Air and Wave, 100% superwash wool, in the color 110. And this is what it looks like in a skein. I went more in depth into yarn construction in my last episode. So, not the one from last week, the one from 2 weeks ago. And this is what I had left after the body, but I knew this was not going to be enough for the sleeve, so I have 2 more full skeins, so I broke into a new skein, so I wouldn't hopefully have to change skeins in the middle of the sleeve, because I don't know what it's gonna do interruption wise, and I'm hoping to use the other skein for the sleeve, so we'll see how much I use for the sleeve. It is full length sleeve, but I need to work on this again. I've been kind of alternating my whips per week, so this I knitted on right after I recorded my second episode, and then I knitted on my other whip last week. So there's that. And I still have some time. The deadline should be like mid-January, so Oh, and my needles I'm using for the sleeves. I am using Chiago. My hair's in there. Everything I knit has my hair in it, but I'm using my Chiago shorties for these. I love using those for sleeves. They're just perfect. They come with 3 different size cords, and then all the needles come in these longer tips and shorter tips. So I prefer to use the longer ones if I can, just so I have something to hold on to, but they do come with shorter tips if I need a shorter circumference. But yeah, I love using those. And then my next whip, I know I'm in the middle of a row, and the rows take me forever, so I was like, oh, and I had just started that row, so I'm sorry. But my next whip, I don't have the pattern in here, so I won't be able to tell you who the pattern is by, but it's Sommernach, and I'll put the name on the screen. And I am using Kremke Soul Wool Lazy Linen, all natural sock yarn made with molesting free wool and Belgium linen. 80% wool, 20% linen. And yeah, I think it's from Denmark. I don't remember where I bought this. I want to say Mother of Pearl in Maine. Oh, and the color is 007. So it's James Bond. But there you go. And it's this beautiful green. And like I said, I'm in the middle of a row, but this mushroom progress keeper is where I was last time. You guys seen this if you have been following me before. If you're new here, welcome. And this will be the first time you've seen this, but I was at this little mushroom guy, and I started the second. So you do garter, then you do this lace repeat garter, and then lace again, but not as big as this section. So where's the mushroom? I did this a little bit. These rows really do take me forever, and I was having issues where every other row, which every other row is a lace row, I would be a stitch short. So I would have to look, where did I miss a yarn over in the row below, and fix it. I don't know why, but sorry that you can't see the full gist of it, but there it is. And I really want to get this off the needles, but it's very slow going for some reason. I mean, there's a lot of stitches on the needles, but there's also not 300 something, I think, at this point. You increase every single row, even on rest rows. So that's that one. I don't know if I have anything else to say. The yarn is nice. I'm still getting used to using plant fibers, and there is a lot of linen fuzz going on. So I don't know if that's just part of it, but there's like, I don't know if you can see that, but linen slubs and linen just, I can pull, oops, no, I pulled my stitch, okay, there. And some of them are pretty bigger slubs, but it's hairy looking. And I don't know if that's just part of using linen. So if you could let me know, is that just normal or not so normal? I know my mom used Barocco Remix before, and that, I don't even think had linen in it, but it was like a mix of plant fibers, I think, and that was very hairy and had these bits of plant.
Pirates of the Caribbean by Jean-Luc Marie on Amazon.
Alexa, stop. sounds weird. So, anyway, please let me know if that's normal with linen yarn, so I know if that's just something I need to expect, but I don't know if you can see in the skein that it's hairy. And that's all I have. Why don't we knit and chit chat for a little bit, because that was really short and I figured we can chit chat for a little bit. So I'll work on my sleeve because that's just knitting at this point. So we can talk about how I started knitting. And if you have any questions or anything you would like to know or any topics you would like me to talk about in the future, you can just leave me a comment or send me a message on Instagram, or my email is down below too, and I'll get to those. But I figured I'd just start with my origin story. So about 13 years ago, actually this month, I was living in Arizona. At that time I was still in between Arizona and Virginia, but I was living in Arizona at that point. That was the first time I was trying to move to Arizona. That's a whole different story we can get into. And my sister and my mom worked a lot, and I didn't at the time. So I was bored, and I decided to go to Joann's to look for a hobby, as one does. And I went to Joann's, and I picked up a crochet hook and some yarn, and they have the pamphlets for like free patterns or even little booklets, and I think I picked one of those up, and I crocheted blanket. It started with this green blanket with red heart. It was green, and then it had the almost like camel, but I don't know if it was the red heart camel, bobble rose. I do no longer have that Afghan. And I couldn't figure out the slip knot, and my mom somehow, she came home and she showed me a slip knot, and she just made a chain, and we still joke about that none of us knew that she actually had crocheted in the past and knitted. But so she got me that far, and then we went to my grandma's house. Oh, and then my mom wanted to crochet. I think she made an Afghan too, I don't remember. But we went to my grandma's house, and she helped my mom, and I kind of watched YouTube videos and figured it out myself, how to do that. And then I made another Afghan for Ricky. It was like black and like a weird blue, like a royal, not even royal blue, just a blue. And I don't have that Afghan any longer either. And then every time I went to Joann's to buy more yarn for these Afghans, I kind of was like, oh my god, with crochet, am I only going to do Afghans? Because they didn't have like granny square stuff up, and this was before I knew about Ravelry. I kept everything I was grabbing, all the pamphlets was for knitting. And then I just was, I really wanted to knit socks. So I was like, well, I guess I have to learn how to knit, because really I didn't like the look of crochet. I wanted to make clothes was my big thing. I like the fabric of knitting, so I was like, I need to learn how to knit. So I got on YouTube and found Berry Pink Knits, and the pamphlet I got was from Michaels, I remember that, and it was Patton's yarn, I believe, in gray color, and I have that project, so if you want to see it, let me know, and maybe I'll dig it out. I still have my first knitted project, and most people start with garter. I started with a cable scarf. So I didn't know what was supposed to be difficult, what was easy, how you start. I didn't know any of that stuff, so I started with a cable scarf because I liked the look of it. And that's kind of how I got my, I used to have a YouTube channel years ago, that was called the Fearless Knitter, and that was why, because I was like, if I like the look of something, I will learn how to do it. That's how I started, and that's how I still am. So it had garter on the sides, and it had this big cable in the middle, and that was my first project. And then I no longer have my first pair of socks. They were like worsted weight socks. I no longer have a lot of the things I made at the beginning because I gave them away or just didn't keep them. I don't have my first cardigan. My first cardigan was a piece cardigan from a magazine. So, and it was a hooded cardigan, and it was made out of chunky yarn. It was awful. But yeah, I no longer have that. But that's how I started, and that was 13 years ago. This month, in December, is when I learned how to knit. I learned how to crochet 2 months before I learned how to knit. I don't know when I learned about Ravelry. I have to look how long I've been on Ravelry. It wasn't too much longer after that. Maybe in April of the following that year. But yeah, I never stopped. So I have taught some people how to knit. I worked at a place. I taught 2 people there. I taught my mom. I taught Cheyenne. That's how I learned how to knit. So if you have any questions or any other topics you would like to talk about, you let me know. We can do this little chitty chatty knit with me at the end of like a podcast that's really short. If you did not see, my last video was my Make 9 plans. So make sure to go back and watch that. And if you wouldn't mind to like and subscribe and ring the bell and leave a comment, those are all things that YouTube watches for. That's how YouTube knows that people enjoy my videos and that they should recommend my videos to other viewers. Or another way to really help is if you do Instagram, to just post in your stories that you're watching my channel, or to repost my post when I post my YouTube channels up. I'm currently trying to grow my channel, and I'm just throwing things out that would help me grow, just so people can find me. But I appreciate every single one of you that is watching, and I'm so happy you guys come back and watch my channel. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there about knitting and crafting, so thank you for watching. Bye.